And welcome to the Inland Sports Show, everybody, live and amplified. And we are back in the studio. I am so socially distanced, I'm actually lonely. There's like nobody around. It is literally just me and my coffee down here and my laptop. Look at that. There's literally nobody in here. But we appreciate you tuning in. And again, listen, we're going to continue this local sports conversation. There's stuff going on out there. I know a lot of people are talking about high school football. What's it going to look like? Are we going to have it? We do have local sports as well. California Baptist and UC Riverside basketball are going strong right now, each picking up some big-time early season victory. So we will be keeping tabs on the Highlanders and Lancers. But again, high school sports, everyone wants to know. A lot of questions, not a lot of answers at this point. But we will continue that conversation. We will push forward, and we got a lot going on in this show tonight. First off, big thanks to our director, Johnny Nunez, and his team behind the scenes here at Teen Vision TV 16. We really appreciate their support. And our awesome sponsors, Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change, Kin Sporting Goods, and of course, Boost Performance Training. Now, if you saw on Twitter, I made a promise. We're really going to blow it out high school football-wise on tonight's show. We're going to be in studio tonight. We'll be in studio next week, and then we're going to take a week or so probably off around Christmas. But until then, as we lead into the month of January, which will be a very telling month for high school football, we will continue this football conversation. So later in the show, we will have Andrew Raymer from Chaparral, the head coach. We will have Stephon Pace from Tahquitz. But leading things off right now, he is the big man at Patriot High School, the head coach of the Warriors, Chris Fowler, joining us live on the Inland Sports Show. Coach Fowler, here we are in December, and if you're like me, I'm missing football so much. How bad are you missing football right about now?
You know, it's been for us over in Aruba, we've been going since the end of September. So it's been about 11 weeks. We've been conditioning. You know, it's not called practice. We're conditioning.
Yeah, don't say practice.
No ball, just running around the field. So it's been a long, long time. I've actually given the kids some time off this week and next week to get their grades up and finals. But it's been a long time, and we're chomping at the bit, waiting for some news, some good news to come out.
Yeah, speaking of conditioning, Coach, you know, like you said, just get the guys together, running around, you know, exercising, doing something to, you know, kind of get their bodies right as we, you know, get closer to a high school football season. What did a workout look like? What did a conditioning workout look like at Patriot High School? What did you guys do?
Well, you know, in the beginning, you know, it was just about getting the kids back on campus. You know, the social aspect of getting these kids back into some kind of normalcy and on campus and getting to see them and talk to them and, you know, just ask them what's going on in their family life. And then, you know, it was the conversation with me and my coaches about, well, what does this, you know, conditioning look like? You know, no ball, we're visualizing a lot. So what we did basically is we did a lot of, you know, just lifts with body weight and, you know, some lunges and some the wall squats and some things like that. And we split practice into that for about 45 minutes. And then we would go about an hour and a half of on the field, conditioning, getting these kids running, getting their cardiovascular up. A lot of these kids, when we got them back in late September, early October, hadn't done anything since March. So they were pretty out of shape. And all the coaches that I talked to who were doing it at the time said the same thing. These kids are out of shape. Sitting in front of a monitor all day just playing video games is not actual football.
Well, I can't say anything because I was kind of in the same boat, except for I was like binge watching, Netflix shows and Korean baseball league games at 2 a.m. in the morning just to have some sports during the summer at least. But Coach, you mentioned just the social aspect of being able to get your team together and how bad these kids need that right now, even though, like you said, it's not a real practice. There's no equipment. There's no football out there. But the simple fact that you could get the guys together, how important was that, even aside from just the game of football, just being able to get those guys together, interacting and having that social aspect of being on a team?
Yeah, when we started school back, virtual learning, and I had the kids in my football class, we had discussed what it is that we're missing because we couldn't be back together. And then as soon as we got the go-ahead from our district and from the Department of Health to be able to come back to practice, those kids were chomping at the bit just to be around each other. We did have some, social distancing issues. When you get 80 to 90 high school boys together, 6 feet is not something they want to be apart. They get into groups and they come together. Wearing a mask was pretty, they've been doing it long enough and they were pretty trained into that. But that social distance thing, we had to really get a grip on that. But once we got that going, it's great to see the love and the passion that our players have, that they want to be out there, and they're the ones asking for us to, hey, coach, let's do it. I had only gone 3 days a week. Hey, can we go 4? Can we go 5? I'm like, guys, I don't want to burn you out. I don't know when we're going to come back. So it's really nice to have that fact that the kids want to do more. And that's what we want out of our players is, they want to come to practice. They want to be there. They want to have that social aspect, and they want to learn more.
Coach, did you have a special message or something you kind of told your seniors, like when you get together for these workouts and these seniors might be like, Coach, I know you don't have all the answers right now, but hey, Coach, what's going to happen? I want to play again. I want to have some games. Like, what's going to happen? What do you tell your seniors?
Basically, I kind of don't really distinguish between the seniors and everybody else. We kind of have the message to the whole program, and it's kind of been the same message for a few years is next man up. Guys, you never know when your career is going to end. We've had some unfortunate incidents where, our quarterback has gone down his senior year in the third game, and that was the last game he had for it. So no one knows when there's going to be their last game. So it's that next person up. And you guys this is the reality of where we're at in 2020. No one could foresee this. No one is behind it. No one's, making this pandemic worse than it is. It's just what we have to get through. And it's just another obstacle. And it's one of those life lessons that football brings is, where we as football coaches in the community, we understand that football is more than just the X's and O's. It's a lot about teamwork and team building and life lessons. And just another life lesson that we're teaching our kids that, there are adversities in life that no one controls. And how are you going to deal with it? And how are you going to make positive out of a negative? So that's kind of the message I've been trying to tell everybody. And I feel terrible for the seniors from last year who, their spring sport got cut short and, the graduations and proms and things like that. And, the way things are happening this year, if we're going to have those things or not, it's terrible the way to end your high school career, but it's just what we have to focus on and staying healthy for the greater good of everybody.
Well, Coach, I know the CIF state office came out last week and essentially said, hey, we're on hold until we get some public health guidelines from the state level. So no real practices, that January 8th date of those first games, like that's out the window. We're just kind of on pause right now until we get some clear guidelines of what's going on. And then we had the CIF Southern Section Commissioner Rob Wygod come out, and we kind of knew this. I had heard some rumblings from other coaches and whatnot that, maybe mid-February could be a start date, but that absolute drop dead date when football season has to be done. Not started, but done. It looks like April 17th. I mean, what's kind of your thoughts of maybe squeezing in a condensed season or a couple games or whatever we can to have some sort of a resemblance of a season, even if it's delayed a little bit or shortened for that matter?
Yeah, I have the great thing of being the AD at Patriot. So I'm in on those meetings, the athletic director meetings, and when we discuss that stuff with Mr. Wygod and we get that information from him. So, he discussed, the whole pushback a week, when we come back, and how if January 19th, CIF Southern Section will come out with their timetable, if they will continue with the Southern Section playoffs or not. And then if they decide not to do it again, then we can start moving some of these games to the end of the season. Like you said, that April 17th date. So, I kind of discussed it with the players. The more the discussion's coming with the other athletic directors. The issue of moving things back and things like that is we're cutting into the spring sports, and we're kind of making these kids decide what they want to play, because we're cutting into basketball season, we're cutting into soccer season, and if we don't have a true playoff for these fall sports, and they do decide to have a true playoff for basketball or baseball or soccer for that matter, are we really helping these kids? Or we always talk about on our campus sharing the athletes and making sure that they get a greater experience doing more than one sport. But when we're cutting into other seasons like that, it's really difficult to try to share these athletes when we really don't know the exact time. And trying to plan for it is the worst part, is trying to plan when no one has that date for you. No one has that definite, yes, we're going to do this, or no, we're not going to do that. So that's kind of the worst part of it. But, whatever we do, I've talked to the River Valley athletic directors, and we want to get those 5 games in. We want to try to play those league games. And if we got to move them somewhere, we want to do that. But we really want to get those 5 games in. Anything less than 5 games, it really kind of dampers the spirits of playing a season. I know we've had discussions of maybe just playing your rivals or us playing our sister schools. Again, that we hope it just doesn't get to that point. We hope that we never have to be there to where we are only going to play 2 games. We really want to focus on trying to play those 5 games.
And Coach, I'm glad you brought that up, because I actually spoke with some other local football coaches, and they basically said what you just said, that if maybe worst case scenario, you play 5 league games. And again, with April 17th as that date where football season has to end, if you kind of work backwards from that, I guess football, even if we pushed it back so the first games don't begin until like the middle of March or so, like
yeah.
if you're doing the math, does that sound about right, where we could still get 5 league games in?
Yeah, it kind of sounds ridiculous. It's almost like spring football for college.
Yeah.
We're out there in March, and I know a lot of high school coaches will be like, "Yeah, let's bring back spring football for us." But yeah, so it's I think I don't quote me on this, but the middle of February, 17th or 18th, somewhere around there is when we really need to know, because CIF. We still have to follow the guidelines. We still have to have, our helmet protocol 3 days. We still have to have our 10 days in pads before we play a game. So that's about 3 weeks before we can actually play a game. So, you're counting back from, like you said, from the end of that to there. It's somewhere right around mid to the end of February where we need to be, using our color system or whatever the Department of Public Health tells us we need to do. To be able to play. So that's kind of where we're at with that. And, we'll play somewhere in the middle of March, kind of in and out through April. And again, the kids that just play football is great. Those kids that play other sports and do other things, we're going to have to come up with some solutions for that.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge for those multi-sport athletes. It was already tough, Coach, when they took fall, winter, and spring, and they pushed them in through January, or basically, the end of December, basically. through the, June, they squished it all in there. So there's season 1 and season 2 or whatever they're calling it. And now we might even condense it even more. So those multi-sport athletes or even multi-sport coaches, that's going to be hard.
Yeah, I have, I think 4 head coaches of other sports that are on my football staff. So, it's going to be a logistical nightmare. And at Patriot, we're getting a new synthetic turf and track put in right now. So that even hampers the fact of practice facilities right now, because we're down to just our practice field and not being able to use our big main field until probably the middle of February or something like that till they finish. So it's just I get why they're doing it now, because there's no one on campus, and it's it's a ghost town when I'm there. I go in every day and do my stuff, but when we do get the go ahead, hopefully it's going to be a balancing act for not only football coaches, but every sport and every athletic director around.
Yeah, there's challenges ahead for sure, but we're hoping and praying that come, the first of the year or sometime in January, we'll get some direction. Hopefully things will be trending in a positive direction so we can get high school sports going again. Coach Fowler, I really appreciate the time. Keep up the great work, and that is a very clean and crisp Warrior logo behind you. That's we've got a lot of, I see backgrounds all the time now because everything's virtual. That is a really good one. That's a good one, Coach.
Thank you. Try to do the best on here.
That is Chris Fowler, head football coach at Patriot High School, joining us here on the Inland Sports Show. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Appreciate everything you guys do.
Yes, sir. That's Coach Fowler here on the Inland Sports Show. When we come back, more high school football. I told you, we're going to blow it out big time. Stephon Pace from Tahquitz is next when we come back.
What's going on, guys? This is Ray Bass from Boost Performance Training. You're watching the Inland Sports Show with the one and only Pep Fernandez.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona. Need an oil change? Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. Family owned and operated, they're committed to our community. There's 2 locations, so there's one close to you, off the 91 freeway at Arlington and off the 215 freeway at Alessandro. Oil changes are very important, so make sure you swing by. It only takes 10 minutes, and you can do a lot more than just have your oil changed. How about new wiper blades? How about an air filter? Plus many more services such as radiator and transmission. Find out more information at 2getspoiled.com. Don't wait. Get spoiled today. The number 1 sporting goods store in the Inland Empire is Kin Sporting Goods in Norco. Whether you need new uniforms for the entire team, a Letterman's jacket, or new cleats for the upcoming season, check out Kin Sporting Goods. Plus, now you can order masks with your favorite team, school, business, and more. Order for your entire team or organization. Visit kinsportinggoods.com for more information and for the latest on the big sales. Make sure to follow Kin Sporting Goods on Instagram and Twitter. So if you need team uniforms or sports gear, there's only one place to go in the Inland Empire. That's Kin Sporting Goods. We are the IE. We work hard. In fact, that's the way we like it. We wake up early, we stay up late to get the job done right. That blue-collar, hard-working mentality is the same reason we have so many successful teams and coaches and athletes in the Inland Empire. We never give up. We are a resilient bunch in the IE. Everything we have, we've earned. No excuses. It's this determined attitude is what powers our small businesses, and that's how championships are won. The Inland Sports Team is looking to team up with other like-minded small businesses in the IE. Together, we can grow. We can be bigger and better. If it was easy, everyone would do it. But we're not looking for easy, just looking for an opportunity. Joining the Inland Sports Team could be the opportunity that you've been looking for.
Again, a big thanks to our director, Johnny Nunez, behind the scenes, who set up that new glamour GoPro shot up in the corner. Again, I'm so very lonely in this studio. Oh, there it is, all by myself. No one behind the cameras. No one here on the set with me. We're trying to social distance and obviously keep everybody safe right now, but still do the show because we love the Inland Sports Show. There's stuff to talk about. And certainly, if you go on social media, everyone's talking about high school football. We want high school football. What is it going to look like if we get high school football in the new year? Joining us live on the show, head coach at Tahquitz High School, Stephon Pace. And Coach Pace, first off, that's a great logo behind you. That must be the Titan, right?
That is the Titan.
Well, Coach Pace, gosh, I know, listen, we have so many coaches on the show, and there's just a lot of questions and not a whole lot of answers at this point. So, as the head coach at Tahquitz, what's kind of the message you send down to your assistant coaches or your players about, will we have football season? And if we do, what's it going to look like? Or when are we going to practice again? I know there's probably a lot of questions, even from parents. You're the go-to guy out there.
Well, it's been challenging, that's for sure. And our district has been out front with us. My AD has been out front. And our message has been, if we get to go, we got to be ready to go. So, my kids have been great. We've been out. We just stopped conditioning last week. And it was time. The kids are getting tired of just running around. We can't play with the ball, obviously. So, we got in a little bit of shape. And we'll start back at the first of the year ready to go.
Well, Coach, as we go into January, we know that January 8th, first week of the season, that's out the window. We know that, and we're waiting for those guidelines, those public health guidelines, to come down from the state level. And once we get those, we can maybe put together a new calendar, or the CIF would put together a new calendar of when we might be able to start practice, which obviously would lead into games. Do you have a gut feeling of what this next couple of months might look like for high school football? Because we try to stay optimistic, right? We try to stay positive and glass half full and, best case scenario. What are you hoping that the next couple of months might look like?
It's funny. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for all of us. I think that, for us, the biggest thing is we just want to play with a football. Let's get to that part where, we can go out and throw the ball around and teach the kids routes and plays and offense and defense and get them in game shape. But it's going to be challenging. It's going to be week to week and day to day. And, all we want to do is a chance and give us a chance to go out there and play and be safe. Obviously that's the number one goal for everybody, but to be safe and do it the right way.
Well, Coach, I know there's a lot of folks in other states that are either in their playoffs right now for high school football. They just wrapped up their season. Heck, we had a reporter here on our Inland Sports Show, Cullen Holt. He left us and he went to go broadcast high school football games in the state of Wyoming. And I get it. There's a lot less people in the state of Wyoming, but they just played a full season. They had playoffs. They had state championship games. They did the whole thing up there. Does that maybe give you a little bit of confidence when you look around and say, okay, they did it. Maybe it wasn't perfect. Maybe they had some challenges along the way, but they did it. We could do it too.
It does. And, our kids in the state of California, we just want to play. The kids want an opportunity. And let's be honest, not every kid is going to play college football, whether it be at the JC level or Division I, II, or III. It doesn't matter. It's their last hurrah. And as a coach, former player, you always remember your last game. And, I know it's disappointing for the seniors of last year's baseball. They got cut off. And it was sad. But the reality of it is that, you remember that last game. They did have a last game. It may not have been what they wanted, but, these kids at least want their last game. And, it's funny. Let's just play one game. play 2 games, but at least the seniors will have an opportunity to say, you know what, my senior year was cut short, but we played 1 game. So just give us a chance to let the kids go out and experience that.
And Coach, it's funny you say that because, I don't know. I'm not in those CIF Southern Section, public health meetings and whatnot, but everything's on the table. I guess that's a real possibility that they might say, hey, listen, we're not going to get a season in, but April, whatever, you get to play 1 game. You're going to get 1 game in there or 2 games in there. I think, at least from my understanding, talking to a lot of high school football coaches, best case scenario at this point is maybe play 5 league games and then in a playoff. I don't know how many games are in the playoffs or what that playoff looks like, because everything is obviously being pushed back, and that April 17th date that we've been given is kind of that drop dead date where high school football has to end. Do you think playing 5 league games and going to playoffs, that sounds good to me? Does that sound like a pretty good scenario for you?
If we could play 5 games, that would be awesome. And anything after that would be a bonus. I even heard today that Mr. Wygod mentioned that, 5, 6, 7 games and a bowl game. Anything that we can get, we will at Tahquitz take. We'll, again, do it the right way and be safe. But 5 games in the playoffs would be awesome. 5 games in a bowl game would be awesome.
Coach, obviously, you being a head football coach at the high school level, we know that high school football teaches kids so much more than just about football. It's an instrument to teach kids about real life. What kind of messages can you tell your players at Tahquitz about real life, having to go through this pandemic and things constantly changing, and you plan for things and it's scrapped and you throw it out the window and you start over again? Because I think there's a lot of life lessons, as hard as it's been, that we can learn having gone through this.
The one message I've sent out to my players is, and they're kids, and when your mom or dad are telling you to take out the trash or cut the grass, do whatever chore that you don't want to do. We've all been there. And I told them, I said, this is the time you need to understand that anything can happen. Let's be honest, it's a pandemic. And, you don't want to take your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, your grandparents for granted. And spend all the time you can with them and, do what they ask and then the other part of it is grow up, because you have to take responsibility and accountability now for your academics. Before this, it was your mom, you could call a parent. Well, parents are at work. They don't want to hear from me about, Johnny's not on the computer. It's their responsibility. And so it's been a lot more of grow up and become a young man faster than you ever had before.
Well, Coach, if you're like me, I obviously you're like this. You miss high school football. You miss being under the lights. You miss being there on a Friday night and the camaraderie and the fans in the stands and that whole deal. I have been consuming so much college football right now. I'm watching games that I would never probably watch before, like a Western Michigan against Miami of Ohio or something like that, like a game I would not go out and look for, but I find myself watching because here we've gone through an entire high school football season with no high school football. Do you find yourself wanting more football, or have you scaled back and you're like, no, this is family time. I'm gonna try to utilize this time for other things right now?
Well, it's been a lot of family time. One of my sons just left, going back to Portland State, so they're starting up the first of the year to play football, and so we watched a ton of football, and you're watching Friday night football, and high school games from across the country, and again it's hard because you're like, man, we just want a chance to go out there and play, and that's all we want to do. And these kids are having this opportunity, and just hoping that the state will look at us and say, if you're going to do it the right way, here's your opportunity. If you don't do it the right way, we're going to close it down. And as an adult, as a coach, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, we just want that chance, and hopefully come January 2021, we'll get at least maybe a more clear direction of what's going to happen. We'll get those public health guidelines, and again, the CIF will have to give us a new calendar of what football season might look like. So, Coach, keep up the good fight. We appreciate you coming on the show, and best of luck, and Merry Christmas. Enjoy your holiday season.
Same to you, and thanks, and go Titans.
Yes, that is Coach Pace joining us here on the Inland Sports Show. Thanks again, Coach. We really appreciate it. When we come back, more high school football. In fact, I can see him. He's standing by. He's on deck. It's Coach Andrew Raymer from Chaparral. He will join us next on the Inland Sports Show.
This is Alexander Madison. You're watching the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports. Calling all athletes. Make sure you're at your very best by training at Boost Performance Training in Corona. Whether you're a football player, soccer player, baseball player, lacrosse, athletes from all sports and all levels train at Boost Performance Training. Led by former Centennial High School football star Ray Bass, you'll develop explosive power, become faster, and add that lean muscle. Don't be left behind and get a leg up on the competition at Boost Performance Training. Visit boosttrainingsystems.com for information on their training programs and also on the Bass School. That's the Bass Alternative School for student athletes. Trying to earn a scholarship? Maybe make the varsity team. Get a spot in the starting lineup? Well, let Boost Performance Training help achieve your athletic goals.
Hey, Billy here from Spoiled in Riverside. Just opened up our new location off the 91 in Arlington and Riverside. Come check us out and get spoiled for a change.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled. Quick, quality oil change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona. Inland Sports.
USC, currently ranked number 20 in the country. I think they're going to shoot up a little bit more. They are 4-0 after thumping Washington State yesterday, 38-13. Listen, I know it's a long shot, but USC is quietly having a really strong season. They're going to play UCLA on Saturday. I don't think they sneak into the top 4, but they might be saving Clay Helton's job. They might get to the Pac-12 championship game. They could be your Pac-12 champions. They're pretty good, and they got Inland Empire guys all over the place.
Yeah. Another big fight announced this weekend. Mayweather is going to be fighting Logan Paul.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
When I hear something like this, I'm like, okay, they're just making a lot of money. Whatever.
If you happen to hate the Paul brothers and you want to see one of them get his ass kicked, February 20th, you'll see Mayweather toy around with him the way he did with Conor McGregor.
Hey, something to look forward to in 2021. Pep, tell them how to get your stuff.
Hey, if you want to find a real YouTuber, go to Inland Sports. You'll find Pep Fernandez.
Inland Sports.
Yes, Sports Talk every Monday and Thursday, 8:30 a.m. on KCal Rocks 96.7 FM. And real quick, before we get to Coach Raymer, Coach Pace at Tahquitz says, Coach Gregovich, if you're out there watching right now from him at high school, if there's a bowl game or rivals get together, Tahquitz wants him it, so mark it down. All right, join us live here on the show. We're going to make it quick because this guy's on the clock. He's working right now. It's the head football coach at Chaparral High School, Andrew Raymer, who, Coach, you're in the press box right now?
Yeah, I'm in the press box right now. Trying to get a little warm, a little chilly. We got a little Temecula breeze going on. We got night practice, so.
Well, Coach, listen, I know you guys are still doing workouts right now. What does a chaparral workout look like right now? Because I know I've heard from other coaches, some are doing yoga. Some say they look more like a track practice because you're just running around. What does a chaparral workout look like?
You know what, it's gone in phases. We started September 8th, that Tuesday after the holiday. And, we started for the first month or so, we were just every 5 yards and just running to the hash and back and doing things. And we progressed. And right now we're in small groups. We gotta do a bunch of different groups. We're here for about 4.5 hours each day, rotating groups, doing individual work. We moved the main equipment out of our weight room underneath our waist stands so we can get some weightlifting done. Now, we're not getting like the back squat and the bench press, but we're getting creative, and we're doing a lot of lunges and a lot of weighted push-ups to get those exercises in. And we actually this week right here, our district approved us to use footballs, a single transmission, so from player to player, that's it. But we got footballs thrown around in some sort of capacity. We got kids running around. We've been installing individual techniques, some small group stuff, some plays, and just taking advantage of this opportunity, finding ways to be creative and being positive through this entire thing.
Yeah, love to hear that, Coach, that you guys are moving forward and introducing an actual football, which is a crazy thought at this point, like, oh my gosh, a real football at football practice. But love to hear that you guys are moving forward. Coach, we know that first week of the season, January 8th, that first Friday night of that old calendar, that's out the window. We're going to have to blow that up. We're going to have to start over again once we get these public health guidelines, and we don't know when those are going to come. But as we stay positive, as we stay optimistic, because we want high school football games here in the IE, how do you kind of maybe see that calendar playing out the next couple of months? Do you think we could start practices, let's say February, and maybe 5 league games, and then maybe some sort of a playoff? I kind of feel like, as I talk to different coaches, that might be the scenario or best case scenario. What's your gut say?
My gut's been wrong quite often. It keeps getting pushed back, right? So the competitor in me, the football part of me, and the optimistic person is we're going to play as soon as possible. And our district administration have been fantastic this entire time. They've been really doing a good job of listening to the coaches, the athletic directors. I can speak for our area, the Temecula Myriad area that we've been working together. And, we've gone over a lot of plans for these kids. Super important to find ways to showcase these kids for colleges, but overall, just for the high school kid, just give them opportunities to play. So, you know what? We've gone through a lot of different scenarios, and no matter what it is, we just want the chance to play and show people that we can do it right, we can do it safely, we can protect everybody as best as we can and follow all the guidelines and protocols. So if they tell us, hey, you're playing January 8th, if you're playing February 8th, March 8th, whatever it is, no fans, half fans, you're only your parents, we're going to play. So we're ready.
Coach, it's funny you mentioned about being wrong, because I go back to, mid-June, and I'm like, oh, we definitely got football. We're good. We're good in the fall. We're definitely going to have a season. Yet, here we are talking about what's the calendar going to look like. And you mentioned it for especially your seniors. I know all your players, but especially your seniors, trying to give them that experience, that moment, that game, whatever that experience might look like, to do it one more time, to put the uniform on one more time and play the game they love. A lot of these kids won't play at the college level. Do you think, as the head coach, do you think about that much? Like, man, we got to make this experience as a high school athlete, a memorable one. Like, this is their last chance, especially for these seniors.
Yeah, definitely. The seniors are definitely in our thoughts all the time. We're trying to find ways to just make it competitive and fun at practice and our workouts, and to do some things for these guys. Coming up in January, we're going to put on a little combine camp for our guys, just to throw it out there, give them a little experience. I know we've talked about, hey, when we do play our first home game, it's senior night. we're not going to take a chance of, hey, at the end of the year, the last home game, it's going to be senior night. So the traditional last home game, it's going to be the first home game at senior night for the kids and the parents. So just things like that. But there's been a lot of conversations, and like I said, our administration and our district, they are pushing forwards with at least giving us the shot to provide those opportunities for the kids.
Well, Coach, what a great idea. Your first home game of the year, make that senior night, because you're right. I mean, if you look at college football or some of these other sports, so much changes. It's so fluid. Things change from week to week, day to day. But I love that idea. I'm sure there's going to be some other high school football coaches probably stealing that idea after they see the Inland Sports Show tonight. But, Coach, we're going to let you go back to work. I know you're on the clock. Listen, I know you got great assistant coaches holding down the fort while you're up in the press box doing the interview. Do you want to give a couple of them a shout out? I know you got a lot of great ones.
We got the great Coach Robinson back out of retirement. He's going to call our defense. I have a lot of great assistant coaches. Coach G, Coach Mitchell, Coach Hess. I can go down the list. A lot of guys, a lot of alumni like Coach Argent, Coach Hawthorne, and just a great group of guys and a great group of players. And I really just want to end with, I appreciate, I've talked about our administration and our district so much because I see some stories through social media and the internet and on TV that, people are shut down and we're still given that ability to play. It's super important for this mental health of our players and even the coaches. We need it just probably not as bad as they do, but it's a good thing for the coaches as well. And we're following all these guidelines. I have my neck gaiter, I have my mask, I'm doubling up, we're sanitizing everything, and we're gonna do everything right and make sure that we give these kids a chance to play. So,
Coach, I couldn't have said it better myself. That chance to play, doing it right, doing it safely, it can be done, and hopefully we get that shot come the new year. Coach Raymer, I always appreciate the time. Tell Coach Robinson and the gang I said hello, and we'll let you get back out there.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Pat.
All right, that's Andrew Raymer, head football coach at Chaparral. Thanks, Coach. Okay, when we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, we're going to wrap things up. A very quick wrap-up. CBU women's basketball off to an incredible start. We'll talk Lancer basketball when we come back.
96.7 KCal Rocks. What's up? It's Patrick and 40. Hey, man, you're watching the Inland Sports Show right here. Make sure you check out Pep, man. It's Inland Sports with Pep, but he's on every Monday and Thursday morning with Sports with Pep, man. You guys rock.
Need an oil change? Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. Family owned and operated, they're committed to our community. There's 2 locations, so there's one close to you. Off the 91 freeway at Arlington and off the 215 freeway at Alessandro. Oil changes are very important, so make sure you swing by. It only takes 10 minutes, and you can do a lot more than just have your oil changed. How about new wiper blades? How about an air filter? Plus many more services such as radiator and transmission. Find out more information at 2getspoiled.com. Don't wait. Get spoiled today.
I always tell, my student athletes that, hey, gains are gains. It's everyone's where they're at, and all you have to worry about is making those small improvements. I see, I've been doing this for 10 years now, and I see kids who start off, slow and end up being really good, and talented student athletes, and I see others who start off really fast and they end up, petering out. And a lot of that has to do with, the hype of being a young student athlete and having all this shine, all this glory, and then you stop working. So, and I hate that. I feel like that's one of the things as a coach you have to, really hammer into your athletes that, it's a journey, and starting in high school or even making it to college, it's just all part of the journey, but not the destination. The destination is growth. Destination is to keep moving forward. What I do want to see is I want to see them grow. I want to see them grow academically. I want to see them to grow physically. And as long as we get that growth, they're gonna see some change. They're gonna be better off than where they were, and that's gonna set them on a good path athletically and academically throughout life. So if you think you're ready to grow, if you think you're ready to move out of your comfort zone, then come train here at Boost. Because I tell you right now, it's not a place to be comfortable. We're gonna push you. We're gonna help you grow. But if you think you're ready for it, come check us out.
I would say the one thing that we stress more than anything else is service to our customer. Make sure that they're taking care of whatever you can do to make sure that that order gets to them on time and it's the right quality and what they want. I've been that way since 1976. That was my goal, to reach out to local sports programs, and it's grown from there, and we've been very, very fortunate. My grandson is right over here. He's working for us, and he's going to college right now, and that's exactly what my son did 20-some years ago, and it keeps on going, you know. We have customers that come in the store that it's amazing. People that I haven't been here since I was a little kid, and I used to come in here all the time. And then now I'm bringing my son in here, or a grandpa that's bringing his grandson in here that came in here when we first opened back in '76. We just feel so fortunate to have been a part of this community and this Inland Empire for going into our 44th year now, and it's just been a blessing.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Belief. Yeah. And I believe that with anything you're doing, that you have to believe.
Always beneficial because when you get dim play 10 minutes.
We are tied at 47. UC Riverside back into this one. Brittany Thomas, the basket and the foul. Before I can even say the Highlanders have battled back to tie the game, CBU back in front on a tough bucket by Brittany Thomas.
And that highlight courtesy of CBU Athletics. Yeah, it was California Baptist beating UC Riverside in another edition of the Crosstown Showdown in women's basketball, 67-58. That game was this past Saturday. Now, CBU, the women's basketball team, in a very exclusive group to start the season at 5-0. Johnny, do we have that meme? Because this is a very popular meme, and I know people love to use it, and CBU used it too, and I had to use it here on the show because I think it was great. Here's your teams that have started 5-0 as of last night. California Baptist, Clemson, North Carolina, and Virginia Tech. Those were the four teams, women's basketball teams, to start 5-0. So huge win for the women's basketball team against UCR. And again, 5-0 to start the year. They're going to play at UC Santa Barbara come Friday night. And the men's basketball team, again, for a lot, not just CBU, but college basketball teams, college football teams, everyone's schedules are just so fluid and changing. Just got word that CBU men's basketball will play tomorrow at 4:30 against St. Catherine's, and then on Saturday they will host Fresno Pacific at 3 o'clock. And again, a lot of these games are changing day by day, so make sure if you follow Inland Sports on social media, we will try to keep you up to date. That goes for UC Riverside as well, as they've had to kind of navigate the schedule and have to pivot and make some changes at last minute in a lot of cases to just get more games and games canceled and games added, but we'll try to keep you up to date. But the men will take on Fresno Pacific Saturday, 3 o'clock. And again, a week from tonight, CBU men will play on the road at the Arizona Wildcats. Big game, CBU at Arizona. Huge thanks to our director, Johnny Nunez, and all of our great guests. I told you we were going to blow it out high school football-wise. We had Coach Andrew Raymer, Chaparral, Stephon Pace, Tahquitz, and leading off the show is Chris Fowler from Patriot High School. Huge thanks to our sponsors who have been with us through it all. Spoiled quick quality oil change off the 91 at Arlington and the 215 at Alessandro. Ken Sporting Goods, huge sales going on right now as we lead into Christmas, so check out Ken Sporting Goods out there in Norco. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Listen, I know we don't have any games right now, but if you want to stay ready, don't get ready, stay ready, check out Boost Performance Training. That's boosttrainingsystems.com. My name is Pep Fernandez. Stay safe, and let's see, let me read my phone real quick. Yes, it says Dennis Gregovich was watching the Coach Pace interview from Tahquitz High School. And Coach Pace, if you're still watching, it sounds like, yes, they would love to play you if there was a bowl game like that. And he says, if Coach Pace needs any offensive plays, tell him to give Coach Gregovich or Coach Galliano at San Jacinto a call, and he'll help you on offense. Sounds like the rivalry is already building. I can't wait for high school football. It's going to be awesome. My name is Pep Fernandez. God bless you. We'll see you next Wednesday night, 6:05 first pitch for your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show.